Evening, guys. Welcome to another Fireside Devotional. We're going to be in Nehemiah chapter 10 today, and starting in verse 35. It says, "We promise to bring the first part of every harvest to the Lord's temple, year after year, whether it be a crop from the soil or from our fruit trees. We agree to give God our oldest sons and the firstborn of all our herds and flocks, as prescribed in the law. We will present them to the priests who minister in the temple of our God. We will store the produce in the storerooms of the temple of our God. We will bring the best of our flour and other grain offerings, the best of our fruit, and the best of our new wine and olive oil. And we will promise to bring to the Levites 1/10 of everything our land produces. For it is the Levites who collect the tithes in all our rural towns." And now, that's great, obviously. They're like, yeah, we're going to give the Lord the best of everything that we have. But that's in chapter 10. Then, just in chapter 13, it shows us that Nehemiah had, after being with them several years, he's left, he's gone back to the king, and after however long then, he returns back after putting guys in charge, and he returns back and he finds, hang on a minute, you guys haven't kept to this. They'd started allowing sin to enter in, they'd started compromising on things, they'd started allowing certain storerooms that were supposed to be there to hold the grain offerings and everything else, had now been given for people to live in. And moreover, the guy who was living in this one certain thing was a guy who had been opposing all the building in the first place. And then they'd allowed things like on the Sabbath day, all sorts of different things that shouldn't be happening on the Sabbath day. And they just allowed all these other sins to happen and to just creep back in because they weren't allowing their heart to be given over to the Lord. They'd instead allowed all these things to be simply like ordinances of religion rather than part of their relationship with the Lord in actually wanting to truly honor Him with their lives and with their hearts. So the ordinances had just simply become a routine rather than part of the relationship. And they'd allowed themselves to compromise because they'd lost that love for the Lord that they once had. And they were required to offer up their best to the Lord, but the problem is that they weren't really offering themselves to the Lord. They were just offering up what they know they should be doing and then compromising in even that. And they were giving because they had to give rather than because of their love for the Lord. And in Isaiah 29 verse 13 it says, "And so the Lord says, these people say they are mine. They honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And their worship of me is nothing but man-made rules learned by rote." And it's a reminder to us that we can honor God with our actions and with our words, but if our heart's not really in it, then it's empty, it's meaningless. It really means nothing. Like, if I give a gift to someone, for instance, and I can give them a gift, and they can feel like, oh, great, cool, but then if the rest of my actions show that I don't really like them, I don't really love them, I don't really care about them, me giving them that gift is effectively meaningless, because everything else shows that I don't really actually like that person. I'm just giving it out of a, well, I should just give this person this thing. It's then showing that really it's given out of an obligation rather than being given out of love for the person. And I can pray, I can help others, and I can give my tithe to church, but if my heart isn't set on the Lord, then they're simply routines that aren't really truly honoring the Lord. Because I'm doing them because I feel an obligation to do them, rather than because of my love for the Lord, because I know, hey, it's good that I do this. Hey, I actually want to do this. And it reminds us of in Matthew 7, when guys say to the Lord, they're like, oh, but Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we drive out demons in your name? And the Lord says, depart from me, I never even knew you. And the problem is that we can do all these different things, but the problem is that we need to actually have our relationship with the Lord in right check. We need to say, okay, Lord, I want to do this because I love you. If I'm doing all these things, but I don't really have a relationship with the Lord, then they're meaningless. It does nothing for me. If that's really then the reason why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because I feel like I should do it, rather than because I want to honor the Lord. When I do something to help someone else, I'm not doing it because of me, I'm doing it because I love that person, and because I care for them, and I want them to see the goodness of the Lord in that as well. That then the Lord could be glorified in those things. That then it's encouraging and it's helping to develop that relationship between that person who's giving and that person who's receiving. And between with us and the Lord, it's between the Lord and us. When we're saying to him, hey Lord, I'm just going to be honest with you in prayer, and I want to lay my heart bare before you. The Lord already knows us, so let's just be honest with him. Let's pour out our hearts before him to say, okay, instead of just giving a routine prayer, I want to actually say, okay Lord, like these things went on and I need help with these things. And these things I'm worried about. So please help me with those things. To seriously just come to the Lord and have that intimate relationship with him that he desires of us. And when we're reading his word, we're reading it because we want to get to know him. Sometimes it isn't always an exciting thing to do when we're reading his word, but we know that it's good for us, and so we say, hey, I want to invest in the relationship with the Lord. So that means that I want to invest in what he's already written out, that I want to get to know him more, so that then even if certain things that I'm reading might not feel like, yeah, this is really exciting, actually I know, hey, it's actually good for me, and hey, what can I learn about from the Lord in this? How can I develop my relationship with the Lord through reading these things? And then it's allowing him to work in us, to say, okay Lord, I need you to continue to change me, to make me into who you want me to be, because I know that's a lot better for me, and I know that's pleasing to you. That it's all part of that relationship. Because when the relationship is right, then the actions are going to follow from that. Then we're not doing these actions simply because we feel like we should do them, because we feel an obligation to, but we're doing them out of our love for the Lord, because it's being fed by that relationship, rather than simply by religion. So we give him not just our actions, but our whole lives, and then our hearts with it. Putting him as our first priority, making the relationship with him something that we actually invest in. And when we offer our hearts to him, and then we love him, that's what's pleasing to him. Our actions then can be fed by that love. And Romans 12 verse 1 says, and so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God, because of all he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. And true worship is offering our lives to God as a sacrifice. It's not held on to and then just giving God what, he might require of us, but saying, hey, I want to give you my all because I want you to work in me. I actually want that relationship, rather than just simply saying, I have to give this? Okay, fine, here you go. But actually saying, hey, it is my delight to give to the Lord. And then it's his delight to give to us as well. It's his delight to then show us his will, which is good and pleasing and perfect, for him to then direct us and to be our good shepherd. So I want to encourage you guys to let our hearts be with our mouths and our actions are, to invest in our relationship with the Lord, giving the Lord the best of what we have, and we do it because he is more than worthy of it, and because we say, hey, I want that relationship with you, where I'm going to invest in it, and the Lord is going to invest in us as well. And so then he can be our good shepherd, and he can be our good father, where we can have that relationship with him because he cares for us and because he loves us. And then our actions can be then done in love rather than simply out of an obligation. God bless you guys.